out of our room because you can't afford it.
No, they don't.
Are we really on? Are we on?
Greetings.
Are we on?
I heard y'all wasn't on yesterday.
Who?
I heard they were not on the after show yesterday.
No, it was a fake after show.
Yeah,
We came
yeah.
in here and faked the after show.
Yeah, that was like 2 days ago, right? That was
No, it was yesterday.
That was yesterday.
Yeah, we
On for
faked
20
it.
minutes
We
and we're
faked
not
it
really
for
on.
about 15 minutes.
No,
Glad
that
it
was
wasn't me.
No, that
Was
was
it
on
2 days
Wednesday.
ago?
Yeah, that was on Wednesday.
Oh.
Yeah,
Was
it was
it?
on Wednesday. Yeah, it was because.
Oh, that's right. That is right. It was 2
because
days
we
ago.
almost had to cancel Forecasting with Friends. But then I said, I'm not leaving until they tell me that this thing is truly broken. And sure enough, they got it right back up and running. But so, yeah, it's a really, so for folks watching right, just imagine you come out, you think you're on TV, right?
Yep.
You're yucking it up for 15 minutes.
Yep.
We're laughing.
Yep.
We're messing with each
Putting
other.
all of
whatever.
our energy in this
Putting
thing.
all of our energy into it,
That's
and then
right.
somebody says, "Yeah, no, it's we're in black. We have none of that went out."
You know what it is? What it was, rather? It was the Gremlins.
Somebody was
It
hating.
was the Gremlins.
The Gremlins. That's what.
Glad I wasn't there that day.
That's what.
It was
no,
the
you would have
lawn.
been fit to be tied.
It
long would not have
don't take much to finish them off.
Director Kevin says we are on.
Hey,
We're
who's?
supposed to- I think we're supposed
Is somebody
to
in
go
the
out
field?
I think D Nice is out there.
D. Oh, go to Denise right now. I'm sorry, Denise.
Yeah, D Nice is out in the field.
My fault. Our fault. Hey,
It's windy.
take it.
Hey, yes, it is. Hey, good morning, guys. So I'm here at the Port of Houston. The strike is finally over, and so the workers are expected to return today. They'll get here around, the gates open around 1 o'clock, so they'll get here shortly before that. You can see, though, this parking lot is pretty full, so it looks like there's, some supervisors here at the moment, but this strike had already started to affect the U.S. supply chain. That walkout did raise some concerns about shortages of goods on store shelves after the union went on strike early Tuesday. So this was a 3-day strike. Its contract expired in a dispute over pay and automation of tasks at 36 ports. This was stretching from Maine to Texas. And so they have been demanding a 77% raise over 6 years, plus a complete ban on the use of automation at the ports, which a lot of them see as a threat to their jobs. And so they were able to reach this tentative agreement on wages at a 62% increase over 6 years, but that issue of automation is still under negotiation. So they have, the next 90 days. January 15th is when they'll extend this contract to, so they have time to negotiate it until then. So they still have to iron out some details. And so, of course, we'll, stay on top of it and see if they're able to get what they've asked for. But most of this, again, has centered around the wages. So it seems like most people are pleased with that. And there were statements from President Biden and Vice President Harris saying how proud they were that everyone was able to reach an agreement. And we also heard from Harris County Commissioner Rodney Ellis, basically saying the same thing. I don't believe we've seen a statement from former President Donald Trump yet. But yeah, it took a while, but they were finally able to reach this tentative deal, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Denise. And I know you're ready to get out of there, but man, that is certainly something kind of strange going on over there. But
Everybody is buying up toilet paper, even though we're telling them that the toilet paper is made here domestically. It did not come off of any of those container ships.
What is it about the spirit of toilet paper that makes people buy all of it up when
People are
anything happens?
frightened.
Lon, think about it. And that's all I'll say. Leave it right there. We'll leave it right there. We'll leave it right there.
Don't think about it too hard.
We'll leave it right there. I was trying. Okay. Is Lena out there? Lena? Let's go, Lena.
She's at the
Lena.
original Greek festival.
Yes. I'm here to save you from yourselves right now.
Please.
Can I show you this beautiful Svetlaki? Souvlaki. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's delicious. It's delicious. Okay, so that's just one of the things that you're going to find at the original Greek Fest. Now, I have to just take a second and redeem myself because I messed up the dance. And I used to be a dancer, and so I know everyone was doubting me. So I know it goes this way. Right, left, right, kick, left, kick, right, left, right, kick. Ta-da! Everyone is Greek at the Greek Festival, right? Okay, so Dana, we've been coming year after year because we love it just as much as you do. And so it is that time again for Greek Fest. We've got your lunch plans, your dinner plans, your family time plans.
Our plans, we got it all. We're opening today at 11. We'll be ready for lunch. Admission is free till 3 today. And the playground starts tonight. First dance is at 6:30. www.greekfestival.org. And we encourage ride sharing. It's easier than finding your car towed.
Yeah, right. And then it's open till 10:30. So, I mean, if you're like, you know what, maybe this is dinner for us. Maybe it's after the sun goes down. I mean, anytime you come is the right time.
Absolutely. Anytime you come. You benefit the church grounds, the cathedral tours, and you can shop as you drink wine.
Yeah, as you drink wine. And you know what? My favorite part is once it wraps up, because it's open today and tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 10:30, the very next day, you all start planning for the next year because everything is homemade. It's not like they're just, going to the store, thawing it out and serving it up.
Correct. We do take a couple weeks off after having been together nonstop, but yeah, we do plan year round. We try to figure out new things, try to make the lines move faster. We try to make it as easy as possible for everyone to come and want to be here.
So there are two groups of people. The people who, like myself, who come year after year. You're like, I got it down. I wait for this all year long. And then you have people who say, you know what? We've never been. Let's just go. So for someone who's new and never been, kind of walk me through the highlights or the things that seem to get the most love.
So I think, like I mentioned earlier, everyone needs to do a dance program, which are on the hour, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, and 9:30. Mm-hmm. And I think that everyone needs to do food. When you do food, my pro tip is divide and conquer. Okay. There's lines, send someone to the wine, send someone to the cheese, send someone to the food, and then meet at a table or meet where you're going to sit and have dinner.
And the great thing is, I mean, yes, traditional Greek food, traditional Greek names, but my pro tip is you just point to the stuff. You're like, 3 of those, 4 of those, and they'll do you up. They know exactly what you want.
Exactly what you want.
Yeah.
We don't mind mispronunciation at all around here.
Yeah. And then this is something new, though. Yes. The cheese plate.
The cheese plate. So we have 4 different kinds of Greek cheeses, some olives, apricots, and some toasted bread, it's kind of like a Greek charcuterie, if you will. So it's here for everyone. It's our first year, and we're real excited about it.
Which you mentioned also pairs nicely with the Greek wine.
It sure does. It pairs nicely with wine. That is indeed true.
No judgment. And if you were thinking, you know what, I want to take a little piece of Greek home with me, you also have the shops open.
We do. We have the Agora, which has various vendors. We have icons. We have wine. We have a little shop in the back that's like a Greek grocery store. We have all kinds of trinkets and fun. It's like walking into a bazaar.
And you've got to step inside the cathedral as well. Even if you're not a parishioner, you're not Greek, the doors are open and welcoming, and you get to ask questions too. So it's educational for, you and the family too.
Absolutely. Our priests do cathedral tours. So they will explain the iconography. They'll kind of give you a background on Orthodoxy and let you know what our purpose is here. Yeah.
All right. So if you're in the Montrose area, even if you're not, if you have to travel, I guarantee you it's worth it. And like you said, it's free until 3:30 to get through the doors.
Till 3 today to get through the doors. $8, and children under 12 are free.
Okay. So we've got it all. We have the food, we have the wine, we have the dancers, we have the iconography, we have beautiful weather. So you've got to come out here. And like I said, there's a reason why I keep coming year after year after year after year after year because it's delicious and it's fun. And not only that, you always make friends too while you're waiting in line. You all start chatting it up and looking at the menu. What are you getting? This is my favorite.
Absolutely. That's the nice thing, is that the community that comes also kind of, some people know exactly what they want and others start asking questions. So it's nice to watch them interact and figure out what the next best step is.
Okay. So then again, we're in Montrose on Yoakum and Kipling. Rideshare is the best way to go. So you don't have to fiddle with, where's my car? Where am I? What's going on here? And then the website again, if people have questions?
GreekFestival.org.
Okay. How easy is that? It's as easy as eating your souvlaki. Yeah! I got the dance and I got the pronunciation right. And it only took me 6 years. Back to you guys.
Took you 6 years.
Hey, okay, so I have 2 questions for Lena,
Yes.
if I may.
Yes.
Lena, if you can
Okay.
hear. The young lady that you're speaking to there, I want to say she's been, on our show before. This was going back a few years. There's a debate about whether or not it's a gyro or a gyro. Can you get her opinion? Because I think she goes gyro.
First of all, you're gonna love this because Mike said the young lady to your left.
That's me.
He said there's debate. Now I'm just gonna spell it for you. You tell me how it's pronounced. Gyro.
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 You were incorrect.
Gyro.
And you call yourself a scientist.
If somebody comes up and
He's
says,
like,
"Hey,
she's
can
gonna
I?"
go gyro.
If somebody asks for a
I
gyro,
need
they're
a
going to be
hero.
kicked out.
Is that what you mean? No, you're not. Like I said, you just point. She literally said, Mike, if you were listening, they don't mind mispronunciation.
You just You
just point to the things that you want, and then they give it to you, and then in exchange you give them U.S. currency.
Oh.
See how it works?
You can't pay with the. Okay.
That's right. Or a card.
Yeah.
Or a card.
All
There
they
you go.
care about
And what
is
was
the
your
money.
second
They don't
question?
care how you pronounce it as long as
Okay.
that money is
Fair
pronounced
enough.
money. USD.
Wait, I have one more question. I know that we have to go to break. Nate, I have a lot of questions for Lena. Plus, I'm
He's
trying to
probably
make her
tired.
feel as uncomfortable as
Okay.
possible. Okay, the last question is, did you tell
Okay.
them about the baklava incident?
The baklava incident?
Yeah, they sent you a box of baklava and somebody ate it.
Oh, no, I did tell Did you tell them how somebody ate the food?
That was the first thing she said to me when she called.
They tried to send her over a box.
Dina always
Yeah,
takes such
somebody ate
good
it.
care of us.
Somebody
and
in
she'll
the
always send
newsroom
over a
just
box.
ate it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and then tried to sneak it by me because I said, Dana, someone ate the food, and then someone in the newsroom, I don't even remember who, some nameless, faceless wonder said, "Oh, they probably didn't send any." I was like, "Oh no, she did."
Yeah.
And so I called her. I was
Oh,
like,
that-
"They ate all the food." She goes,
Yeah.
"What?"
That's just wrong.
Yes, there was a baklava incident.
You know
Yes.
what happens in a
I'm an
newsroom,
investigative
though. You know how
journalist, as you
somebody
know,
puts-
and I will find out.
I got you,
If there's a
Lena.
box of
Lena,
anything in the newsroom, it's gone.
have a
That's
good weekend.
ridiculous.
They stole it from Lena.
You know, I hear that quite often.
But luckily,
Yes.
the gates open at 11, and so I'll get in line with everybody else,
You
and I'll
get
get everything
more.
I want, and I get to keep it for myself. No one's taking it. I'm gonna guard it like in prison, like how they
Yeah,
how they do this.
I got you. All right.
Now, why are people going
Have
to
a
people's
good one.
desks and
Thank
stealing
you.
stuff?
Giro.
And I hear this on more than one
Giro.
occasion when it comes to food
Okay.
at our
Yep.
station.
Giro us to break.
What are you even over there talking about?
We got to go to break.
26 is the
Anonymous.
Fox 26 YouTube page. Like and subscribe today.
Well,
Are we going to talk high school football? Or are we going to talk college football?
Well, I
Or are we
wanted
gonna
to
talk
talk.
weather?
Well, I wanted to talk. See, this brings me to a question. You know, I always I have so many questions about life. So, I was just commiserating with Nate about the fate of how terrible Florida State's doing this year and what in the world happened. But you were talking about NIL, right? How the college football players can get paid in packages and stuff. Now, you both being athletes, college athletes, how would your life have been different if you could have been paid for your name, image, and likeness when you were in college?
Well, Go ahead, Delon. You start first.
All of this would be money.
Hey, let me just say. Okay.
What would it have been like though? But would it have changed the vibe? Like, I mean, of like,
Mike, go
what
back.
if one guy on the team was getting $100,000 a
Mike.
year, and the other guys on the team were getting $10,000?
Mike, go back to the first question before you go to the second question.
Okay.
The first question.
How would your
is-
life have been different?
Okay, so first of all,
At Southern Miss.
NIL just became legal.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you have to understand. Guys been getting paid for a long
You
time.
know about the whole Eric Dickerson thing? I've seen that documentary.
Well, it's a whole lot more than that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm telling you because but anyway, I mean, it's just now NIL is legal, right?
Yeah.
So here's something that Texas Tech did that I really appreciated. All the guys on the team got the same amount of money.
I agree with that.
It did not matter. It did not matter who was supposed to get what. Every guy in that locker room got the same amount of money.
How does that work though? Okay.
It can happen. If your head coach says this is what we're going to do, and that's what they did. This is what we're going to do to make sure that there's an even playing field for everybody. That's what they did at Texas Tech. Okay, now you go to Alabama. Bryce Young, right before he came out, 2 years before he came out, he had $1 million deal.
That's what I'm saying. If one dude pulls up in a
But
Ferrari,
that's Alabama. But that's you can do that at Alabama. Now I will tell you. Let's see. So I've been covering sports since 1989, right? I had some guys coming out of certain institutions that told me, "Hey man, I took a pay cut to come to the NFL."
Really?
That's what they said.
Really?
I fell out laughing because I knew exactly what they were talking about. They took a pay cut to come. Let me tell you, ask your dad. When you talk to your dad, ask your dad about some of the people, some of the athletes with whom he went to college. And I guarantee you, he'll tell you they had money.
Wow.
I won't say how. I'm not even going to talk about.
Even in my generation, I saw it though.
Okay, so you know. So I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
they have a. It's not like the thing with the NIL. The NIL has changed everything. It's made more of the landscape more evenly. But what it's also done, it's sort of destroyed college football. Somebody sent me. Okay, I know who it is. My wife.
No,
Anyway,
that's somebody who's
that
saying,
somebody's my
Nate,
wife.
I don't care if it was 1989. You better not be spilling the beans right
I'm
now.
not.
I think that's what
I-
they
say. You're talking too much.
That ain't happening. No, I'm not talking to. I'm talking just enough to let you know. So the NIL, what has happened? The college landscape has changed now, because college coaches begin moving around, right, to get the money. So now the college players are like, well, the heck with that. You know, NCAA, stop it. We want to be able to get paid. And now Reggie, former Heisman Trophy winner, Bush is suing the NCAA
Get his Heisman Trophy back, right?
Well, not only that, but he wants them to pay him for his name, image, and likeness for the money that he didn't get while he was at USC. So that's what has happened. It has changed the entire landscape, and now you see the quarterback at UNLV. Well, I was promised $100,000 from one of the assistant coaches.
Yeah, and they only gave him like $3,000 or something, and
Yeah,
so he's leaving.
So now he left.
Yeah.
So he said, I'm no longer playing at UNLV. I'm not playing. I'm done. I'm a red shirt. I'm not playing. I'm done. So now you see this across the board, and now you also have the portal. The portal allows players to go from school to school and collect money, and that's what they're trying to get done.
So if you, like when you were coming out of high school, if you were looking at, I assume you had a few different choices. If one place said, hey, look, we're going to arrange, we have a commercial thing that we run with a local car dealership or whatever, and we're going to throw $20,000 your way, versus another school that either doesn't give you money or something. I mean, you're going to follow the money, right?
Follow where the money is.
Even though it's technically amateur sports or whatever, but that's
money. That money in college.
Plus, here's the thing: you might not be able, like, especially with NFL players, or I assume basketball players, everything else. If you don't make it to the league, you might not get that money.
Yeah,
you know. So you got to
get it in college.
take the money while you can get it. But anyway, all this came up because I can't figure out how Florida State got so bad so quickly. But now in college football, players are moving around through
That's
this.
why.
It used to be that you had to sit out a year.
The portal has changed everything. It's evened the playing field. Take a look at Texas State. Texas State and Sam Houston. Sam Houston had 44 transfer players.
It's a whole new team.
When I was doing my research on Sam Houston before they played Rice, I'm the color analyst for Rice football, 44 players from Division I schools all over the country. Last year, we played Texas State in the bowl game, the First Responder Bowl. Texas State
won.
Had grown men on that squad. They had 55 transfer players.
Wow.
That's how you get it done if you want to build a program now. 55 transfer players, man.
Grown men.
So grown men. So guys already, those guys who transfer, they need that 1 or 2 more years to give themselves an opportunity to get to the league to make what is considered now the real money.
Yeah.
So that's what you look at. I had teammates when I was in college. Some of them didn't have the same money as others. Those guys were hurting at night. They were hungry. They wanted pizzas. They wanted something to eat.
Yeah.
That's the era from which I come, and I will tell you they would do whatever you could do to get $15 to get a pizza. That's what you did.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you have it. That's how times have changed with the NIL and Florida State. Florida State is just the portal. The portal has changed all that.
I can agree.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with Florida State, but I guess
Well, often. So Kevin asked, how do you keep your eligibility and go from school to school? First of all, you get the 4. But remember, you can redshirt or you can transfer as a grad transfer, or you can leave that school before all your eligibility is up and go play somewhere else. Because scholarships aren't necessarily on a 4-year basis. You don't sign a scholarship 4 years anymore. It's year to year.
Oh, okay.
So you can get out of there if you want. Now, if if the school decides, well, we're going to give you a 4-year deal versus the 1-year deal, that's to motivate you to come to camp and be ready to play, then that's how that works. But typically, you can get out after 3 years, and guys do it. Guys can transfer after their junior year. So they're not, say, for instance, Mike isn't happy at Florida State, which would never happen.
No.
Not him. Or DeLon is unhappy at Central Michigan. I doubt if that would happen either. But he says, after my junior year, well, I'm not playing. I'm out. I'm gone. I'm going somewhere else where I can play. One of those other schools that recruited you will gladly take you because you were a great player in high school and now you have college experience. That's how it happens. So you still have more eligibility.
The weird thing is, too, as I understand it, you can play 3 games, can't you?
Yes, in
and
redshirt.
then, as long as you do 3 games,
in redshirt,
you can, and then
4.
you can keep
play 4.
An entire year of eligibility.
Right.
If the first 3 games don't work out, that's like your trial run.
Or 4.
how many times can you redshirt in an undergrad? Because I know at least for track, you get one, or at least it was, one indoor season and one outdoor season.
Well, okay, so now that's a funny question because there was a quarterback at UTSA who we played against regularly, and he kicked our butts. Frank, what was Frank's last name? I can't think of it. But anyway, so you can get a redshirt year, you can get a medical redshirt.
Oh.
If you get, that's right. You can. So this happened to what's our boy, backup quarterback at with the Texans that played at U of H.
Case Keenum?
Case Keenum.
Yeah.
Case Keenum was at University of Houston, I want to say for 6 years.
Yeah, he did come out.
He had a
was
medical
older when he
redshirt.
came out.
Yeah, he had a medical redshirt.
That's right.
2 medical. He had a redshirt year and a medical redshirt year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss Case Keenum.
That's how it works. Love Case Keenum.
He
man.
played for the
good guy.
Browns.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah, he was around.
Yeah, he was
A heck of a quarterback.
Definitely.
Yeah, heck of a
So what
quarterback.
we've learned here today, everybody, is that it's looking better for college athletes, but it's maybe looking worse for Florida State University. Yeah, at least the athletes. At least the athletes. Oh, one more thing. It's funny. Well, it's not funny, but I think it's great. Because the one thing, I agree with the Texas Tech thing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like Caleb Williams at USC pulling up in a Lambo and everybody else at the team has no money. That's what I don't like. But what I think is really cool is like teams will work out, let's say for like women's volleyball or lacrosse or like, what's it called? Field hockey or whatever.
Joey McGuire at Texas Tech figured it out.
But they will get NIL deals for these niche sports,
Yes.
you know, that aren't
Yes.
necessarily filling up stadiums, but at least the students
It's
can
not
eat.
as much money.
But they don't have to beg for a few
It's not
dollars.
as much money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have gotten nothing because I have no athletic ability.
Y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.
Fox 26 is
Hey, welcome back to Tom's DIY Garage from my workshop this week. It is only September as I record this, so that means it is still really, really hot in Texas. So you may hear the air conditioner in the background trying to struggle to keep the workshop a little more comfortable than normal. If this is your first time here, as the name suggests, we are all about do-it-yourself type stuff. We build things, which is always fun, but we also do things that make the world around you go a little bit better. We have talked about generators during hurricane season. We have talked about pool maintenance. We have talked about fixing a flat on the side of the road. All important things so that you can be self-sufficient, but really my happy place, if you wanted to know, is building stuff, hence this particular space. So if you have been here before, you may notice it may look a little different in the background. If you don't, that's okay. But I've made some changes here in the workshop because after spending some time out here and working out here, I have come to believe that the space can be used just a little bit different. Let me show you a little bit about what I've done here. First off is the placement of my workbench. It's right over there. It used to be right here next to my my growing collection of clamps, and right underneath these cabinets that I built. Right now I have, oh, don't mind this plywood here. This will come in handy just a little bit. Bear with me. But I've got a bandsaw here and a drill press here. It's on a rolling cart here so I can move it around here. But I moved the workbench, and this is about 3 foot by 6 feet. I moved it to this back wall instead, and I really came to believe that if I put it over here, I would have more space in this area to do things and make things. So I need to, now that I'm using this space differently, I need to construct some storage, maybe another one of these cabinets for this wall, and then This shelving unit, which was in this corner, is now in this corner, and it's got a variety of power tools and some bins with some other equipment that will come in use later in a subsequent Tom's DIY garage. But my thought is that all of this space, there are my shoes, will come in much more handy. So, handy for what, you may ask? Glad you asked. So obviously with moving my workbench, I'm going to have to find a home for all of the various knickknacks that are on top of it right now so that it can be used as a workspace, hence the need to build some stuff for that wall here to store it. I'm still kind of visualizing and conceptualizing what that will be. But anytime you're in a workshop, a woodworking shop, and you're cutting stuff, you're making sawdust. And sawdust management is a particular problem, I think probably for every workshop. So there are a variety of systems that you can use. Previously, I've just kind of let it collect on the floor, and then I'll sweep it up and throw it away. It's kind of a hassle. Other workshops I've seen have very elaborate vacuum systems that attach to every single tool, and every time you cut something, it sucks up the sawdust into a centralized bin, and you just throw that stuff away when you're done. I just don't have the space for that in this particular workshop. 12 by 18 is my space, if you don't remember us having that particular discussion. So what I'm going to use is something that Mrs. Ziska got for me for Christmas last year, particularly asked for it. It is the Dust Deputy. It is specifically for DIYers. Practically has my name on it. So this thing's pretty cool here. Let me show you here. This is the Dust Deputy here. It's plastic, kind of this cylinder. It's a triangular cylinder here. Vacuum cleaner gets connected there. The hose to a tool gets connected there. And when the vacuum sucks air through the hose tube, it creates this cyclone action, and the dust falls out the bottom. Now, most of the directions for the use of this would have you connect this bottom to one of those 5-gallon plastic buckets that you could get at Lowe's or Home Depot or Harbor Freight or any of a number of places. And that can work. Two problems there. It's 5 gallons, so that's not a lot of sawdust. And secondarily, I have seen lots of cases where the suction involved here collapses that 5-gallon plastic bucket. And that just becomes a problem that I didn't want to deal with. So I found, shockingly, a YouTube channel called Slow and Expensive, which I kind of caught my eye here, as opposed to Fast and Cheap, Slow and Expensive. And I'm not sure where this guy is from, but he did a series of videos about dust collection options in a workshop. And one of them caught my eye. Take a look.
And this one, I'm going to share my dust collection cart with you. It's probably a little different than most of the other dust collection carts you've seen, mainly because I'm using a box rather than a bucket as far as how I'm setting up my cyclone dust separator, which is a topic that I covered pretty extensively in the 4th video in the series. This dust collection cart really highlights the benefits of using a box, mainly because of the design and the overall functionality of the cart, and the fact that the end result ends up being more like a custom-made thing rather than something that's just pieced together, which is typically what a dust collection cart that's built around a bucket ends up being like.
What I like about it is that it's portable, and it doesn't have a huge footprint, but you can kind of roll it around the workshop to the places that you need it, connect that hose to the tool that you're using, suck up the sawdust as it gets made, and then put it again in the corner when you're not using it and it's out of the way. Let me show you what I have in mind. Open up my drawing book here, and this is kind of a side drawing of what I envision after watching the video. So the bottom base here, which will have casters on the bottom to roll it around, is 17 inches square, and it's kind of ringed by a pieces of 2x2-inch lumber here. In the middle there is a 14-inch wide plywood box. Remember that plywood I just showed you a little bit ago? It'll be 30 inches tall, so doing some math, that's roughly 25 gallons worth of capacity of sawdust. So you can cut some things, and then this can be lifted out of the base, and then you just dump the sawdust into a plastic bag or into the trash. On top of this, and this is a lid with 1/2 inch, actually it's 5/8 inch plywood. The dust deputy gets connected to this lid, another 25 inches tall, and a vacuum cleaner sits on top of this little platform, which is 14 inches square plywood. And then this lid is kind of a 15-inch square, just wider by 1/2 inch all the way around of this 14-inch square box. So that's kind of what I envision. Let's put it together. Let's make it, see how it turns out. I'm going to start by cutting the horizontal pieces to this cart. If you'll recall from my drawing, there are 3 of these pieces. The first one is a 17-inch square base that will have caster wheels so it can roll around the workshop. Into that will be the 14-inch square box that holds all the sawdust. There is a 15-inch square lid on top of the box, and on top of that is the assembly with the dust deputy and the vacuum cleaner, and that's topped with like a 14-inch square. So I will cut 17 inches wide and then kind of graduate down for the other pieces that I need for those other parts. I'm using some very basic plywood here. This is 19/32. I don't know why they came up with that. It's roughly 5/8 of an inch thick. This is very basic plywood. This is used for sheathing of homes and buildings. Nothing special about it, but I don't need it to be special. I just need it to be structural for this. So I'm going to use a track saw here to cut this piece across, and then it will be a much more manageable thing that we can work with. So have eye protection here. Well, that's ear protection, but dust protection here. Looks great, huh? But you don't really want to be breathing in sawdust if you can avoid it. I do like the smell of sawdust, but you really shouldn't be breathing it in a closed area. So, if you can hear me through all of this, let's get started. Just like that. Did you see all the sawdust? That's what we're trying to fix. With a more manageable size piece, I can use this miter saw to cut down the smaller pieces that I need. Again, 17, 15, and 14 inches.
Come on! Let the bass kick. Let the bass kick.
And through the magic of editing and power tools, we have 3 separate pieces here. So 14-inch square, that's the very top of our cart. 15 inches square, this is the top of the box upon which this will sit. And then 17 inches square, which will be our cart. Now, I selected this particular portion of the plywood on purpose because it had this ink printing on it, so I can kind of hide all of that. Again, I told you that the quality of the plywood wasn't essential, but if you can make it pretty, you might as well make it pretty. I've cut the 4 pieces of plywood that will make up the box, the container for the sawdust. Again, it's 14 inches wide. I have 2 end pieces here and 2 other pieces here that will go inside. Here's a little important thing to remember. Since we want it to be square, before you cut those inside pieces, you've got to measure the width of those 2 end pieces of plywood and then subtract that from the measurement on those inside pieces so they fit together and they are square, if you catch my drift there. So in order to put this together, I'm going to put the pretty side of the plywood down, facing away from me, so that the ugly side, the inside, faces up, because that's where I'm going to glue first, and then I will drop in some nails to keep them there until the glue cures and it will be a solid box. So let's go. With the box essentially built, before I seal it off with the end piece, I'm actually going to seal off the corners with some silicone caulk, because as this is a vacuum, without sealing the corners, the edges of the box, air will get in and the vacuum portion that sucks the dust into this won't work as well. So I'm going to basically set it on its edge, take the caulk gun, and run this silicone bead along the edge of it. We'll do that around all 4 corners, and then I'll put the end piece on and seal it as well. Once it's done, the box fits into the rolling cart just like that. If you imagine building from the ground up, the next step is building the lid to the box, the sawdust container. That's what this piece is going to be. It's 15 inches on each side. It's a little wider than the box is because, as you can imagine, you'll need to be able to lift it up and away so that you can get to the sawdust and throw it away once the container is full. So it provides just enough for a little bit to grab onto, about a ½ inch on each side. The dust deputy will get connected right there to the middle. I'll cut a hole, we'll get to that in a little bit. And then on the 4 corners are these posts, upon which will be 1/3 little platform that will hold the vacuum cleaner up on the very top. There's a lot going on here. On the bottom of the lid, I will also attach one final piece of plywood, just kind of like that. It's a smaller piece, and this piece fits just inside the inner measurements of the box. So when it's attached to the lid, it'll lock the lid in place so it won't slide all over the place and get sawdust where we don't want it to go. So I pre-measured everything, I pre-marked everything. Let's get around to attaching everything. I'll do the bottom of the lid first. Again, as I mentioned, I have pre-measured where the corners are. So start by putting a liberal amount of glue on the bottom here. Next, I will cut and drill where the dust deputy will be attached to the lid, just like that. I've marked where the center of the lid is, and you can see where I've scribed the place to cut the hole for the sawdust to go in. And then there is this template in the instructions here to mark where to drill the holes to connect it. Terribly pretty, but the hole is cut and the other holes for the bolts have been drilled so we can attach the dust deputy. The lesson for me on that little exercise is that This jigsaw that I bought years and years ago is a little underpowered, so I might need something a little stronger. Next, I'll attach these 4 posts to the top of the lid here. Again, pre-marked, pre-measured, all of that. I'll be using